Hi, I'm Ralph, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to be talking about grilled cheese sandwiches. Now, if you spend very much time on the internet, you've probably seen those articles saying, what makes the best grilled cheese sandwich? Butter or mayonnaise? Today we are going to find out. Earlier in this week, I also conducted a survey among my neighbors, both the adults and the kids, to have them do a taste test and figure out which ones they thought were best. And it was a blind test, so they didn't know whether they were having the bite of the butter or the mayonnaise. In fact, they had both, and they had to figure out which was which. So that's going to come at the end of this video. First, one of the big complaints that some people seem to have about using butter is that it doesn't spread very easily. The solution to that is leave your butter out on the counter. It's not going to spoil. Call your local health department if you don't believe me. Butter does not spoil on your countertop. We're also going to be using the squeeze container of mayonnaise, and I will tell you that it comes out really easy, and this is pretty slick. But let's just kind of compare here what it is between the two. I've already taken care of most of these. The butter, okay, it's soft, it spreads, but it does tear up the bread a little bit even with the soft butter. Compare that to the mayonnaise, which I squirted on here, and it's like nothing at all. It actually kind of lubricates the knife and makes it glide over the bread even easier. So yeah, I guess that's legitimate. It's not hard to spread the butter, but it is easier to spread the mayonnaise. That said, here's the basis of the test. We're going to be using the exact same pan at the exact same heat, which on a scale of 1 to 10 is going to be right about number 4. And we're going to be using a timer to give us the exact same number of minutes for each sandwich. First two sandwiches, we're going to be using the same cheese. So let me put that on, get that started. We're using the exact same bread from the same loaf. We're using American cheese. Putting that on, setting the timer, and we will flip that after a minute and a half, do another minute and a half, and then pull it. So we will be back in just a moment. Give it one final flip. And that is the butter one. Gonna do a quick wipe out of the pan. And we're ready to start the mayonnaise. Mayonnaise on. Cheese on. Second layer, and the timer is set. Time to do our first flip. Reset the timer, and we're good. See you in a minute and a half. And here's the side-by-side comparison. The butter, the mayonnaise. As you can tell, they're very similar. The mayonnaise one tends to get a little bit darker and will tend to be a little bit crispier. We will do a taste test and find out for sure. These are going to be pretty hot. That's the butter side. That's a very good sandwich. Good enough for one more bite. Now for the mayonnaise. Also extremely good. But you do notice there's a little bit crispier, crunchier texture to the bread. And it's kind of a nice sensation actually. Do you notice a big difference in the taste? No, not really. If you're expecting an entirely different taste out of the mayonnaise, you're gonna be surprised. It's not an entirely different taste. It's very, very similar to the buttered bread. When we did this test with the neighbors, as I said, we had both adults and we had kids, and virtually nobody correctly guessed which one they were eating. Everybody thought they were eating the other one. They probably tried to make educated guess based on how they looked and how they tasted, and really nobody picked correctly. But they did have a slight preference, and it's kind of different because the kids all preferred the one with the butter, and the adults, every single one of them, preferred the ones with the mayonnaise. What that means, I'm not really too sure, but that's the results that we got. So is butter or mayonnaise one better than the other? Maybe not, but I will tell you that after doing the test, the mayonnaise was a little bit easier to work with. Now, with that said, there's lots of things you can do with grilled cheese. So again, I'm gonna wipe this pan out and we're gonna try a couple of different types of grilled cheese. First one is we're gonna make a pizza grilled cheese. Start out with the bread. I'm gonna put down one coating of mozzarella. I'm going to add a little bit of pizza sauce. I'm just going to put a skosh of oregano on there. Another slice of the mozzarella to kind of seal it all together so that the sauce doesn't come pouring out. Another slice of the bread, and we set the timer. And we will be back in just a moment. Time to flip. And reset the timer. That's it. Quick little flip. Give it a quick little cut. Now, the beautiful part about this is you're not limited to just putting on pizza sauce. You could also slip some pepperonis in there. If you had some lunch meat for like some ham, or you could put mushrooms on here. Anything you'd put on pizza, you could put on here. Here's the sandwich. It's going to be hot. Going to give that a little taste. That's very good. In fact, using the mayonnaise and getting that little bit of extra crunch is kind of similar to having a good thin crust pizza. Just like real pizza, the cheese has a nice pull to it. Here's another variation. And I can't say that I can take credit for all of it because I did see it on the internet. So we're gonna see how it turns out. But you know how charcuterie boards are very popular these days? That's why I'm gonna call this a charcuterie grilled cheese sandwich. Gonna start out with the bread, got the mayonnaise on it. Now instead of American cheese, I'm using a 4-cheese blend. In here it has cheddar, Colby, Monterey Jack, and a low moisture part skim mozzarella. But that's only gonna be for the first layer. Put that on. Put the cheese on. Now, what kind of charcuterie board would you have if you didn't have some fruit on there? So I am putting some apple slices on there as well. Apple slices, yes, apple slices. This is what the internet recommended. And on top of that, I'm gonna put some shredded mozzarella, or I'm sorry, not mozzarella, but shredded cheddar. Because I wanna make sure that the cheese gets in and among the apples to hold this sandwich all together. And then the next layer of bread. Press that down a little bit. Start our timer, and we're going to see how this turns out. Okay. So that is it for our charcuterie board grilled cheese sandwich. That's what it looks like here. We're going to go ahead and cut that open. And even though it has apples inside, it's not hard to cut. It's going to be hot. So let's give this a shot. It's remarkably pretty good. And you do get that apple taste and the cheese right off the bat. That's a very good sandwich. That is definitely worth trying. I will give you this tip. When I originally tried it the first time, I think I sliced my apples a little bit too thin, thinking that I didn't want to have too much on there or make the sandwich too thick, and it really didn't come across enough. Make it, maybe 1/8 of an inch or so, where you're actually going to get a good bite of an apple when you do this. But this is definitely worth making. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. I'm going to enjoy eating these sandwiches. If you like it, press the like button, and I'd appreciate it if you liked it to go ahead and subscribe. So until next week, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.